carrying on from the low back exercises that I gave you a few days ago, we're going to use something else which is really handy to have at home. Really good exercise tool, something I've been using since I was first at uni over 20 years ago, and loads of things you can do with it. Really good exercise tool, but some really basic stuff you can do with it as well. So this is my Swiss ball or exercise ball. People call it different things. I was known as a Swiss ball, so that's what I'll be referring to it as. Some people use this as their chair for work. Some people just use them for exercise, and they're quite good fun as well. So if you're going to use one of these for sitting at your desk, one, you need to build up gradually to using it as a chair, because you will get tired on it and your back muscles will get tired, which means that you're more likely to then injure yourself. So if you're going to use one as a desk chair, you need to have a slightly bigger ball than you would have for exercising with. So when you sit on the ball, your hips should be slightly higher than your knees. So this one would be too small for a desk chair. If you're exercising on it, you want your hips to be roughly parallel to the floor when you're sitting on it. Obviously, it depends if you've pumped it up properly or not, so do make sure it is a well-inflated ball as well. And do try and make sure you can get a burst-resistant ball, because if you're running around and you roll on something sharp, you don't want it to suddenly collapse on you. So you haven't got to spend a lot of money on one. If you're going to get one that's burst-resistant. You can do this without shoes on, you can do it with shoes on. I've got shoes on at the moment. Normally I do it without shoes on, but only because the carpet's a little bit slippery, so they give me a little bit of grip. And the other thing to do is make sure you've got a bit of space around you. This is not the room I normally do this in, but my husband is working in the room that's got the most space. So I'm going to try and show you some stuff to do in this room. So let's get going. The exercise we're going to do is just sitting up nice and tall on the ball, feet flat on the floor. And all you're going to do is just move keeping your head still, you're just going to move your hips from side to side. So you're wiggling from side to side. Nice and controlled, nice and slow. So we don't want that to happen. We don't want you to collapse from side to side. Just want to keep sitting up nice and tall. And then we're going to go front to back, so I'm going to turn sideways to show you this one. So it's a little bit like the pelvic tilts we were doing laying down. So you're just going to tuck your bottom under and stick your bottom out behind you. So you should be able to see that my head isn't moving backwards and forwards. It's staying in a nice central position. So we're just moving this lower part of the back. And then just to take it up another level, just to combine some of those movements, we're going to draw a figure of 8 with the ball. So we're just going to roll ourselves around and try and use the ball to draw a figure of 8. Again, you want to try and keep the head as still as possible, so the hips are moving underneath you. And then we're going to change direction and go the opposite way. Bit of squeaking going on from the ball on the floor. Always good to have some sound effects. So keeping the head still and moving everything underneath you. So have a go with those. They're just really good little drills that you can do a couple of times a day on the ball. I find these quite comfy to sit on. But I say they are quite tiring for your lower back, so even if you're just sitting actually there's a constant amount of movement underneath you, particularly if you're typing or something like that. So your low back postural muscles are having to work really hard. And so after 5, 10, 15 minutes, they're going to be pretty exhausted. So do take it easy, build up gradually. If you can do those nice and easily, the next thing you can do is we're going to roll out slightly. So we're going to use that movement where we're tucking forwards, moving our bottom forwards. We're going to walk our feet forward. So I'm just going to move back slightly. Now this is a bit like a bridge. Hopefully you'll be able to see all of this. So sitting up nice and tall to start with, we're going to tuck the bottom under, and we're going to start to walk our feet forward. So to start with, you might just get to this position. See, I'm trying to keep my spine nice and rounded, and then as I start to move forward a bit more, so the aim is to end up with your knees, hips and shoulders in a nice straight line, and just your shoulders resting on the ball. So we then just hold for a couple of seconds, making sure you're using these muscles in your glutes just to hold you upright or hold you nice and level. And then you're going to roll back up again. So you're going to tuck the chin in and start to push yourself backwards. And roll yourself right the way back up to where you started. So you can do that a few times. So we're going to go again. So so just sit up nice and tall, do the pelvis, tilt the pelvis back, then tuck the chin in. And then just hold it there. You can put your hands on your hips. That might give you a bit of an indication if your hips are dropping, with you keeping them up nice and strong. And also try not to let your hips tip from side to side, keeping them nice and strong. And then roll back up. And we'll go once more. And if you want to challenge yourself a bit more, you can put your arms up. So you're taking your arms out of the equation, and also you're reducing the amount of area you have in contact with the ball. So that makes it slightly more unstable again. So you put your arms up, and then as we come back up, we come back up to a nice sitting position. There are variations on from that. We're not going to go into those now because they are a little bit more advanced, but you can do things like lifting your foot up in that position. Once you're laying out in your bridge position, you can take the arms from side to side. And there's various ways that you can progress that on. Another good exercise with the ball is a wall squat. And I might need to adjust the camera for this, so bear with me. So we're going to put the ball, so our low back is resting against it. Just going to put our feet just about hip width apart. Again, nice and tall. And we're just going to put your hands on your hips to start with. Just going to squat. So we're pushing against the ball as we're doing this. We're trying to keep our knees nice and straight. And your feet should be far enough out so that your knees don't go over your toes. So your shins should be vertical when you get to the bottom of your squat. To start with, you can just go down a little way. That's fine. And then you can gradually go lower, take your arms out, or even take them up for a nice overhead squat. You can use your balls to do a bit of stretching too. So we're going to sit back on the ball. You're going to put one leg, you need to adjust the camera again now, don't I? Okay, so you're going to put one leg out in front, Let's move a little bit further back. One leg out, hands on the bent leg, and just try and push your chin towards your foot. And then we can do the other side. Oh, push towards the foot. We'll do that a couple of times. So we're still having to balance on the ball at the same time as doing this. Okay, next exercise. This one's for your arms and your shoulders. So I'm just going to come back up. And we're just going to put the ball against the wall. Feet hip width apart. Spread your fingers out really nice and wide. So as wide as you can. Try and make sure you're right over the centre of the ball. And all you're going to do is pull your shoulder blades back and together. So you're going to push your chest towards the ball to start with. Come back out. So bring a little bit of weight into the ball. Chest towards the ball. Come back. And then this time, chest towards the ball. Bend the arms. So we're doing a press up. So it's a wall press up with a little bit of instability. As you get stronger, you can progress to putting this on the ground and starting off on your knees and then into a plank on the ball to do a press up. So trying to keep our whole body nice and straight. So we're not trying to not letting that happen or that. Nice straight body, push it into the ball. Now when I said you can put it on the floor and do it, just going to check that you can still see this. So on the floor, what you do is initially you put the ball into a corner, up onto your knees, and then press up. And you can do that on your feet as well. You can work the back of the arms as well, a bit of a tricep dip. This one does require a little bit of wrist strength. So you're going to sit on your hands, pull your shoulder blades back and together, take your feet out in front of you. What you're going to do, you lift your bottom off of the ball and then lower yourself down. Or you can just push the ball slightly side to side and then you sit back on the ball. You can do a couple of things with your feet on the ball as well. This is at the slightly more advanced bridge. So what you can learn to do is just put your feet on the ball, put your hands down by your side, and then we're trying to lift our hips up as if we're doing a normal bridge. So this is a really good one for your hamstrings. You have to work really hard to pull the ball towards you because the ball wants to spring out from underneath your feet and ping off in the wrong direction. So you push down for the ball and lift up. You can do it straight as well, sort of full length, blank, reverse blank, bridge. So you really have to think about tightening up your stomach muscles, your glutes and your low back muscles all at the same time. There are a few of the exercises that you can do. They're not too advanced. Start off with just doing sitting on the ball squats, and rolling out into a bridge. If you can do the bridge laying on the floor with your feet on the ball, brilliant. But just play around with the ball a little bit. There's loads and loads. I've got books and books of exercises that you can do on the ball. My favourite fun one was 2 really good balancing exercises. So you're going to kneel on the ball with your hands and your knees on there. Initially you're just going to take your feet off and balance. Feel a little bit like an elephant in circus. So just kneel on it, and you can wobble yourself from side to side, go backwards and forwards. Do make sure you've got enough space to do this. And then if you're feeling, let's say if I'm going to do this now, the adventurous. So you're trying to get your hips up and not use your feet on the ball to grip onto it. So what you can also do is just do the reverse, so you can sit and then try and lift. Try and lift your feet up, just for the fun. One exercise I did miss out, which is quite a nice one to start with, is the Superman exercise. So like we did laying down the other day, so we're going to get our belly on the ball, and then what you're going to do is lift one arm, lift the opposite arm, and then lift one leg and the opposite leg, and then opposite arm, opposite leg. So again, the ball just creates a little bit of instability and makes your back work a little bit harder. So have a go at those exercises. If you want anything a bit more intensive, then let me know. But good luck, but be careful and build up gradually and slowly. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.